Yeah.
And so I learned that life is happening for you, not to you. And when you understand that everything happens for a reason and it's all for the good, everything that happens to you is all for the good. Pretty sure that's in scripture somewhere. Everything happens for the good.
I love
And
that. I love
if
that.
you use each and every failure, each and every hardship moment for your growth, I promise you that you'll come out better on the other side.
Are you confident? Do you have consistency? How much conviction do you have? I'm Daniel Gomez, the Confidence Architect, a business strategist, keynote speaker, executive coach, and best-selling author. On the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show, we will help you unlock confidence to create consistency and develop conviction. Together, we will discover the key that unlocks your confidence.
Welcome, everyone, to the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show today. We have an amazing guest today. We got the amazing Sean Douglas. Sean Douglas is a keynote speaker, TEDx speaker, and what I love most about Sean Douglas is he serves our U.S. military, all while being a speaker across our country. Sean Douglas, tell us a little bit about yourself, and welcome to the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show, my friend.
Thank you, brother. Thanks for having me, man. So like you said, I'm a TEDx speaker, international radio show host of Life Transformation Radio, and the podcast host, co-host for Failed Dinner Conversations, Pranks, and Practical Jokes. And it's a new comedy show that we just launched. I'm an international best-selling author, business positioning strategist, and a master resilience implementer with the U.S. Air Force and other military branches, but mostly the U.S. Air Force. I joined the Air Force in 2001, right after 9/11, and been in the military ever since. And I'm getting ready to retire and go, entrepreneur full time.
I know, man. I'm telling you. So right before the show started, I've been trying to convince Sean. Sean's going to be retiring here in about a year and a half. I was like, dude, you got to move to San Antonio, man. Come on. And Sean broke my heart. Just for the audience right now, I want to know, this guy's a heartbreaker, too. He forgot to say that. I had him on my flyer, ready to rock and roll. He's going to come and tear up our business accelerator. He was going to speak on positioning and resilience. And then he calls me and he says, the military just sent me somewhere else. And my heart still hasn't healed from that, my brother.
Yeah, I could thank the coronavirus stuff, because they got us being sent all over the place, man. I missed out on Podfest. I missed out on your event. We were sent to deploy to go to different places and help out where we could. And it was like, man, here we go. I was like, I cannot wait till I'm done. Like, God, this is heartbreaking. Because I was gonna tear up your stage, man. I was gonna pull the roof down, man.
Yeah, man. Well, you know what? I just as a joke, I had to throw that in there. But I really look up to Sean, ladies and gentlemen, and he's a cool guy. He's real. He's genuine. And actually, when I started my speaking career almost 30 years ago, Sean is the one that kind of took me under his wings and coached and mentored me. And I love him because he's a real deal. He's always serving. He's always going above and beyond. And Sean, let me ask you this. What's at your core? Because I always see you on social media, not just on Facebook, but on LinkedIn. And everywhere I see Sean Douglas, he has that servanthood heart. You're like that servant leadership. Where did you get that from, Sean?
Well, that's years of spending time in the military. The Air Force's second core value is service before self. And I use that core value with everything that I do. Some people was like, man, you give everything away for free. Like, that's so crazy. All the posts and all the value and all. I'm like, well, yeah. Like, I want to be known as a person of value, not a person of success. Success follows value.
Yes.
So I'm always giving value away, always giving free value. And, most people aren't going to use it anyways. So I have no problem giving it away for free because no one's my competition. So.
It's funny you say that because I was just, I was on a show myself and something that I was talking about and exactly what you say for it. It's like those people that are scared to give stuff away, they have that, I call it the fixed pie mentality. They think that there's a certain amount of pieces in a pie and that's all there is in the world. And they're scared to help. They're scared to give something away. But in reality, there's no such thing as a fixed pie, which is that scarcity mindset. And the reality is this, is when you have a scarcity mindset, it doesn't just affect your income and your wealth and your finances, it also affects just how you do business. Because I believe, Sean, and give me your take on this, in business, you miss a lot of opportunities because you have that scarcity mindset. What do you say about that?
Yeah, scarcity mindset is just, it's a career killer, man. There's been a bunch of different conversations I've been in. I've been told that I was speaking at an event, and then I was told that because I spoke at that event or was a part of that event, that I couldn't be at this other person's event because it was a similar event. I'm like that's crazy. Like, I'm going to end up promoting your event at that other event. Like, hey guys, I just spoke at this other one. You guys should check this. Like, I'm an advocate for like what you're doing. Like, what are you talking about? So I've been down this road many times with people, and I just welcome any opportunities to collaborate, to, for example, like you got, your Sticker Shock Speaking Academy. Well, I've got my Success Core Academy. It could be like, oh, come on, Daniel, you can't do that. That's so crazy. Like, I'm a speaker academy. Like, why would I do that? I would welcome you into the Speaking Academy, like fold, and try to help you as much as I can, because it benefits everybody. Like people that I can't serve, like you end up serving them, or people that we both know. Like, now I have two people that do speaking. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. I just look at it as life is full of abundance.
Yeah.
If you're worried about one guy taking down your business, then you need to not be in business, because if you think that one person is going to be the downfall of your business, the only person that is you. You are the downfall of your own business.
Yeah.
Nobody else.
I love the way you said that. You said, I call it being an abundance thinker. You have to be an abundance thinker. And it's funny you say that, because like I just put a Facebook ad and some other stuff for the Speaking Academy, for the Sticker Shock Speaking Academy, and somebody says interesting. And I saw the comment, and it was just like, okay. And then out of the blue, right now, everybody's having virtual summits. So as everybody's having virtual summits, you're cross-meeting people from other tribes, to say. Yep. And one of the guys goes, hey, man, that sounds pretty cool. Send me some info. So I sent him some info. We actually have a conversation. And then I get a phone call. Well, why are you trying to recruit people in my – I'm like, wow.
Wow.
But it's sad, though, because this is what keeps people from moving forward, right? Once you have that mindset, it's like you start regressing instead of progressing. And I'm a big believer that when you progress, you're growing, you're giving life, you have that abundance mindset. And, just like you, I always see you do that. So let me ask you this. So Sean Douglas is a speaker coach. And what I admire about you is your TEDx speaker. Talk a little bit about that. How, if somebody wants to be a TEDx speaker, what steps do they take? Or just give us one or two golden nuggets that maybe somebody that's listening to this can help them advance their speaking career, their coaching career and such.
Yep. Yeah, one of the big programs that I have is to get you booked at a TEDx talk. That's one of the big. So what that entails is we work on your signature talk, your signature platform, and how you get booked. I mean, besides applying and whatever else, you have to make sure that your talk opens up with a powerful opening. That powerful opening, that hook, is what's going to get you booked at TEDx. So you have to have a powerful testimony, a staggering statistic, an opening that is a shocking story, a shocking fact, something that's really going to hook them. And when I applied for all my TEDx talks, my hook was that in 2008, I tried to take my life. And then I gave a stat about how many people try to take their lives, including the 22 veterans a day and 35 a day, including first responders. So I included all these stats, and that's what got me on the stage. So you have to have a startling story, a startling fact, a startling discovery, something that if somebody goes, dang, and you have to open up with it. Most people say that for the middle, towards the end, or you got to do it in the beginning. You have to open with that. So it's that shock and awe that as soon as you start talking and somebody goes, holy crap. One of the talks I joke, but it's really not funny. I said, just open up with death. You know, like one of the guys was like, 100% of this room will die at one point in their life. Like, what? Like, it was like, dang, like, okay, thanks. But it's making a point where, you know, enjoy life and have gratitude, and
yeah, for sure.
life is short, you know? So, I mean, just, you know, one of the speakers that I worked with,
let me ask you this, because you said you're a TEDx speaker. So how did that make you feel when you finally accomplished your TEDx talk? Just tell me how was that for Sean Douglas? Because you said that if I heard you correctly right now, you try to take your life, and that's kind of a big part of your talk.
Yeah.
How was that full circle? How did that make you a better person, a better father, a better just everything all around?
Yeah. So it was about 9 years later after that incident, and it was like I'm ready to tell my story. Like I'm ready. Like I feel like I'm good now. And it was a little bit of therapy, a little bit of healing. I did a lot of that through my book that I wrote in 2016. Lot of tears shed, lot of memories that I didn't want to like go back to, that I suppressed. Being on stage, it was a dream come true. I said in 2016, because I've been speaking since 2009, but in 2016, I said, I want to make this a thing. Like, this is going to be a thing. I'm going to teach people. Because I was always getting booked to speak, but I wasn't like coaching or having programs and products and services. And so I'm like, 2016, I was like, this is it. Like, I'm going to be an author. I'm going to be a speaker. I'm going to be a TEDx. I'm going to coach people. I'm going to build this whole business around speaking. And that's what I did. And I said, I'm going to be a TEDx speaker in 5 years. In 2017, I said, screw that, man. I'm doing it in 3. And the 13th talk that I applied for, I got the TEDx.
Awesome.
And it, being on stage, it was like the closing of the chapter. Like, that part of my life is over. I can stop living in the past. I can move on from this and use it as a tool. And it was the catalyst for me to grow to who I am today.
Well, let me ask you this. What did you learn about yourself? And the reason I asked that, because when I was 18, I tried to commit suicide. I tried to take my life. I shot myself with a gun, and I always wondered why I lived. From the time that the incident happened to the time that I got to the hospital, it was 4 hours. So the likelihood of anybody being shot and making it to the hospital, much less living after 4 hours, it's a low percentage. And I never really understood why I lived. And now it's kind of comes full circle, and I understand that, but I've learned a lot since then. So my question to Sean Douglas is, what did Sean Douglas learn about himself through this ordeal, and it coming full circle on a TEDx stage and just really being who you're becoming now?
Everything happens for a reason. I can go back 10 years, okay, from that moment. So 2008, it happened, right? Tried to take my life, and it was crazy. From 2009 all the way to that moment, everything happened the way it was supposed to happen. In 2009, I became a drill instructor. So I got healed and I did therapy, and I talked to some chaplains. I was in alcohol classes. I stopped smoking, stopped drinking. I was really trying to turn my life around with the help of my military unit. Trying to turn my life around. And then I became a drill instructor. And that's where I learned how to speak, was being a drill instructor. I became a drill instructor to learn how to speak.
I never knew that about you.
in 2014, I became a master resilience trainer and a suicide awareness trainer for the military. And I traveled all around training military members from different branches of service how to not take their life. I worked with USO. I've worked with different military branches, with the Marines, the Air Force, and I was teaching resilience skills and suicide awareness. I took that and created a speaker career. I was getting booked to speak at high schools in 2010, 2011. I was getting booked at high schools and colleges and different events in San Antonio, which is funny because that's where I was in basic training at Lackland Air Force Base. And I was booked everywhere, man, everywhere. And then, I moved to North Carolina, was getting booked all over Raleigh. I was getting booked all over the United States and Jersey. And it's just crazy that the podcast happened in 2017. The book happened in 2016. The TEDx talk happened in 2017. It was crazy how this happens because I go through this moment in 2008. I then become a speaker to learn how to tell my testimony. I then have a platform to speak on as a resilience trainer and a suicide awareness trainer. And I have a book and I have a podcast. So I had to have a platform, but I had to learn how to tell my story first before I could use a platform to tell it on. Does that make sense?
So what did you learn about yourself though is what I want our audience to know, because think about this. You go from, let's be real, you go from trying to kill yourself, commit suicide, so what is Sean Douglas like? What did you learn about yourself?
Yeah, that everything happens for a reason, that everything works out the way it's supposed to. And I'm stronger than I thought I was.
How's that?
Because in 2008, there was so much that I was dealing with that I just gave up. That I didn't want to be a part of this anymore. I just gave up. After all the other stuff that happened, and I went through like real bad stuff even after that, but it never got to that level of I can't do this anymore and giving up. Yeah. So I had tools to use.
So would you say
to not go down that road? You know what I mean? As a resilience trainer.
Would you say that you reached out more at that point in your life to help for help?
Nah. I mean, I didn't reach out any more than I would usually reach out for like personal help or whatever. I was better equipped to manage hardship effectively. Because I wasn't equipped before. I would just use alcohol and suppress everything. I'm like, oh my God, life sucks and it's happening to me and I just hate my life, and I would just get super drunk. Yeah. And so I learned that life is happening for you, not to you. And when you understand that everything happens for a reason and it's all for the good, everything that happens to you is all for the good. Pretty sure that's in scripture somewhere. Everything happens for the good. And if you use each and every failure, each and every hardship moment for your growth, I promise you that you'll come out better on the other side. And so that's what I've learned.
What's one word of wisdom that you could share with somebody? Because I feel like right now somebody's listening to this show and they're like you, right? They've given up. And whether it's alcohol, drugs, or whatever it may be, male or female, they gave up. And I've been there, right? You don't understand, but that moment, it's a trigger and it happens. And what's one word of wisdom, advice that you can give somebody that they already gave up and are inside themselves? Tell them something right now, Sean.
Yeah. You have the power to say, this is not how my story ends. You and you alone have the ability to write your success story. Today is the day that you make the decision to write your success story. Turn the page and write your new chapter. It's not over. If you've got air in your lungs, you got purpose in your heart. You have the power to say, this is not how my story ends. So turn the page and start writing your next chapter.
Man, I love that. You have air in your lungs, so you have power. I love that, man. I always, whenever I speak on stage, I always get my hand and I have the audience get their hand and put it over their heart. And I'm like, do you feel that? They're like, what? Your heartbeat? They're like, yeah. Well, then that means you still have a purpose.
Yeah.
You're so right with that. So awesome, man. Well, I know you got some great things going on right now in your career, just in every aspect. So tell us about this new show you got coming on. I know you have a new podcast coming out. Tell us a little bit about that if you don't mind. Give you a plug. I love you, man, because one thing I love about Sean Douglas, and this guy, just think about this. He went from 2008 attempting suicide to becoming a TEDx speaker, and now he's just a best-selling author. Not has one podcast, but has another one coming out. And this guy it just shows that it's not where you start, but it's where you finish in life. And you really have a choice in life. You have a choice right now yes, times are tough. Yes, right now this season is challenging. But right now you're looking in the mirror, and that challenge is showing you who's in that mirror. And the question is, are you going to make that person in the mirror stronger? Like Sean said, Sean didn't realize how strong he was until he went through that adversity. And no, nobody wants to go through the suicide attempts. It sucks. I went through that. But what I am saying is inside yourself, you are stronger than you realize. But you got to get that man in the mirror, that woman in the mirror. You got to let her know that, hey, it's okay to go through some discomfort, because in those discomforts and those pains, you're going to come out on the other side a lot better person, a lot stronger person. So Sean, you're just amazing, man. You just inspire me so much. So Sean, this is my first podcast, right? I'm already on my first podcast, and John's already going to go on number 2 and 3. So tell us about your podcast that's coming out.
Yeah, the podcast that's ready to launch or is launched is Failed Dinner Conversations, Pranks, and Practical Jokes. And it stemmed from a moment that we were at a restaurant and some super funny conversation happened. And I was like, man, this would be so funny to be a podcast talking about failed dinner conversations, where maybe a guy asked his woman to dinner and he was going to propose, and she's like, yeah, we should probably go to dinner. We got to talk, and she planned on breaking up with him. So I've heard of those moments happening. I mean, think about how many conversations take place in restaurants. Think about how many Thanksgiving dinners and business dinners and Christmas dinners have all failed miserably. Family members get mad because they talk about religion, politics, society. It gets heated. I remember taking my wife's Puerto Rican. I remember taking my wife home to meet the family, and my grandfather was like, "What? There's no white women in the military?" So I'm like, yeah. I was like, oh God. Yeah, that's episode 2. That whole fiasco was in episode 2. So, when you're in a relationship and it's like, we got to meet the family, you got to meet the parents, everybody's like super scared because they know their family's crazy. And so we highlight some of those. We highlight those failed, dinner conversations, and there's some pranks and stuff that get pulled during dinner. And so we have a couple guests coming on. We've got sponsors for the show already. So
let me ask you this.
It's very cool.
We'll talk about your home, right? Your house. What's one of the failed dinner conversations you've had with your own personal wife, with Candy?
Just her and I alone, or as a family?
Whichever you want to share with.
So we're at a restaurant. So this is episode 1, and so you got to go listen to the show because it's super funny. But I'm not going to go all the way into it because I don't want to spoil it. So we love a Mongolian restaurant, and the Mongolian restaurant here in town has a calendar for the animals. You look at the year and you're like, oh, you're a rat, you're a boar, whatever. Oh yeah. And I had a young child, and this is years ago, and he was kind of young, he didn't know any better, super innocent at the time. He looks, he goes, Dad, what's your birth year? I said 1983. He looks and he goes, oh, and I look down, and right as I look down, I look and it's a rooster, and he goes, oh, Dad, you're a cock, because that's what it said right on there, right on the placemat. The people around us were dying laughing because he goes, no, Dad, really, you are, Dad. And I'm like, shut up, stop. And so everybody's laughing. Man. It was super embarrassing, but it was super fun. And the conversation that happened after that was even more hilarious. In the middle of a restaurant. So, or we were sitting at Texas Roadhouse, and my wife's like, I love the cinnamon butter. It's so good. I'm like, I know, right? Man, it's really good. And she goes, I should try to make that. And my smart aleck 17-year-old's like, Mom, just add cinnamon to butter. Cinnamon butter.
Man.
These are the conversations, right? These are the conversations.
It's funny you say that, because I think right now it breaks my heart, because I would go up to have lunch, and you walk into, whether it's any steakhouse, any restaurant, and even if you have a family of 4, everybody's looking down at their phones like this. Everybody's just looking down, and there's no human connection.
Yeah, that
And
sucks.
it's so sad because it breaks my heart. And actually, my son Julian, he'll make us put our phones away during dinner time, just that way we can like, hey, this is where you got to focus on that. And it's, I'm a creature of habit. I use my phone a lot for business, but I'll tell you, you miss those moments that are really special. And I think right now, I think the world's trying to teach us just really what's important, and to put our phones down and to really have a conversation with the person in front of you, whether it's your child or your spouse, your husband, your wife, whoever's in front of you. So let me ask you this, Sean. What have you learned? What have you taken as a growing opportunity from this whole COVID season that we're in, just being at home, being in quarantine?
Mm-hmm.
What's something that really stuck out to you that really just touched your heart, you've grown from?
Yeah, for many years now, we've never had phones at the table. We shut the radio, the TV, everything is just us. There's no distractions. We don't use our phones at the dinner table. They don't have toys at the dinner table. There's no Nintendo Switch. There's no like it's just us. Everything's put away. No TV, no nothing. And that's been really, really great. We've done that for many years now. Even the kids will call everybody out. We'll have guests over, like, there's no phones at our table. And everybody's like, what? Like, people would come in and like share dinner with us. What I've learned and what I've loved to find out about all this is that the foundations that we put into place have been a difference maker. We homeschooled our kid many, many years. He's 11th grade now. We've homeschooled him since 7th. Yeah, 7th grade. Wow, we homeschooled. Yeah. So when all this happened and kids were out of school, we're like, nailed it. Like, we already know what to do. Yeah. So like I said, everything happens for a reason. We homeschooled him. Our 2 girls who are in school, she's in 7th and my other's in kindergarten. It's right about the time that we homeschooled him. So we already knew the curriculum. We already knew what she was supposed to be doing. We already had a schedule set. Like, we already had our foundations. Same with business. Everybody's like, man, how did you pivot? Like, what did you do? And how did you pivot? I didn't. I literally didn't pivot. I just doubled down on what's working now. It was split between speaking at live events, except for yours. Creating podcasts, launching books, like,
but let's go back to I want to go back to the family part. I don't.
Yeah.
But what did you do? Like the family part had brought you closer together.
Yeah, but we never pivoted. That's what I'm saying. Like, everything that's happened between family, business, relationships, like, we didn't have to pivot because we were already doing these things anyways. Does that make sense? Like, we were already no phones dinner table. We were already having family meals. We were already we already had schedules in place. And I think that comes from the military. We're a very regimented family. Everybody has a schedule. Everybody has a place. Everybody has chores. Everybody it's like those end of world communities, right? Like yeah. The whole world dies except for like 50 people. Like, how do 50 people survive? Like, you're in charge of this. You're in charge of like, there's a hierarchy, right? So everybody knows their responsibilities. Everybody knows their roles. Nobody argues. Which is a blessing. I don't want to do dishes. You don't have a choice. Like, you don't have a choice.
So would you say that has brought your family closer together, though?
Yeah, I would say it probably brought us closer together because we don't leave the house. Well, they don't leave the house. I still have to leave the house, but they don't leave the house. So they're in the house all the time. And you would think that the kids would like be fighting with each other and yelling at each other and, whatever, but yes, they are, but not any more than they usually do, even if they were in school.
Well, the reason I asked that is because we actually went to a dinner the other night, and it was actually kind of nice. And it was with 2 other couples, and it just it surprised me because for myself, I asked the question. We just did. I did like a round robin question. I said, "Well, what have you learned from all this? What have you learned from being in quarantine?" And one of my friends, Michael, he's like, "Oh man," he goes, "I just really value my kids more. I've learned that, hey, he's been trying to change his life, and given him the opportunity to change his life. So he says, man, I've really grown through this. And then when we got to the other couple, they were just saying, well, nothing. I'm like, you haven't learned anything? Like nothing's, he goes, no, we got money. I'm like, okay. I said, nothing at all. He goes, no. He goes, I'm doing my work upstairs. And I was like, okay. And then the wife, she goes, well, no, I'm watching my soap operas is what she said, something to that extent. I'm like, all right. So they go, so then I guess like, I think he got a little bit offended and he goes, well, what about you? And I was like, I really enjoyed just having lunch with my wife every day. I said, I've enjoyed just really just at 2:00 when my wife takes her lunch break, she's working from home. Like it's brought us closer together as a husband and wife because we've had lunch more this past month and 1 month than we've had probably our whole 25 years of being married. And it's just, it's been amazing. And he goes, and he just looked at me and he's like he didn't know what to say. And I think people are missing this opportunity because, and not that I'm judging anybody, but there's really an opportunity to really get to know your wife, your kids in a different way, just to grow through this. Because I think just being in quarantine, it's bringing out a lot of the emotions, a lot of the stuff that we suppress because of the heat. Right? It's getting heated sometimes. We're not used to being with our husband, our wife, and our children, like you're saying. And it's amazing that you have that structure already. But I really want our audience to realize that, hey, like there's lessons to learn behind this. And I myself, I've enjoyed just the fact of having that. Yeah, like there was one day I just needed to get out and go for a ride because it's like, you're inside all day. But I love the fact that you said that, just Sean, that, you already kind of have that structure in your family's life. And it wasn't a big shift. It was just a small shift because you kind of already implemented that. So. Would you say it's brought you and your wife closer together? We
got to learn more patience, definitely. Because everybody's at the house. Nobody gets to leave the kids or whatever. Like the kids never leave the house except to go outside and play, like in front of the house. They don't play with their friends. There's a couple kids that'll like come by and like play in the yard or whatever. But my kids are still know about the social distancing and like all that stuff. Like, they're not wearing masks when they go outside and play, but, for the most part, there's no kids coming around to hang out or whatever. So, it's just them playing. We got trampolines in the back. What I was thinking about and really wanted to say was, why are we waiting for something like a pandemic to bring people closer together? And that's why I say like there wasn't really a pivot. There really wasn't like a huge shift. Like, oh my God, it was an eye-opening experience. Like what this does though, and you'll see what I'm talking about. What this has proven though is what people actually value. There's a lot of people that like domestic violence is up, suicide rates are up. They're not feeling fulfilled. People are fighting and arguing. And there's a lot of bad things going on right now because everybody's quarantined inside the house. But, Bruce Willis and Demi Moore are quarantined together. They divorced in like 2000 and they're quarantining together with their kids and hanging out as a family. I'm like, wow, never saw that coming. But they are. What I've noticed about people is that this has truly shown what they value in life. Yeah. So people are like, man, it really brought me and my spouse, closer together. I'm like, that's awesome. Why did a pandemic bring you closer together, and why aren't you close together anyways? Would be not a dig on anybody. It's just, why are you not anyways? We get so busy with school and after school activities. If you got, those age kids, we've got gymnastics, we've got all kinds of extracurricular activities. My wife's, in college, I got my business stuff. We're getting pulled in so many different directions. Right. Yeah. But we still made time for each other. That was we still do game night. We still do movie night, or we still do, bonfires, and there's still a moment of connection that we have. And we don't wait for a pandemic to connect our lives back together. We still, and that's the difference between a businessman who has a family and a family man who just happens to have a business. I'm a family man who just happens to have a business. I'm not a businessman with a family. And that's the difference.
I'm a big believer of that. I'm a big believer that it's God first, wife second, children third, and then your business.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Let me take over your show. Do you only believe in God on Sunday?
Oh no, man. I tell you, this morning I got up at about 3:00 in the morning, and it's because it's like what I need to survive in this time is his wisdom. So no, it's like you gotta. It's not a relationship that you just go to church on Sunday. It's like you gotta spend time with them every day. That's what I believe, and that's what's really helped my business thrive. Is people say, well, how do you do it? Is because a lot of the ideas that I get come from his presence in my life. If not, I wouldn't have those ideas. So do
you wait till Sunday to have a relationship with him?
Heck no, every day.
Every day.
Every day.
So you don't wait until Sunday to have a relationship with God. You have a relationship with him every day.
Yes, sir.
Well, then why are we waiting for a pandemic to have a relationship with our wife and kids?
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
I love that.
You and I are both Christians. We don't wait. Worship is a lifestyle.
Yes.
So why are we waiting? Why are we waiting for a pandemic to get closer to our families and connect to what we value the most? Why are we waiting for a pandemic to do that? We should already be doing that.
Yeah. No, I love that. You're right.
That's what I equate it to.
I think you just dropped the golden nugget there. It's revealing what people truly value.
Yep.
And I did a post the other day and they were making fun of me. I said, well, your checkbook reveals what you truly value in life. And they're like, Daniel, nobody uses checkbooks anymore. So, okay.
Yeah.
But it's like your bank account reveals what's important to you.
Yep.
And it's true, right? Right now, what's coming out, it's like, what's in your heart of hearts is what's going on. So, man, I love, man. You know what? I'm loving the conversation we're having because I think a lot of people really need to hear this because there's so many, you and I both, went through the suicide route, and there's many people out there feeling lonely. And I think people need to understand that family is important, and having those structures. Like something that me and my wife do is we don't need a calendar to tell us it's Valentine's Day to say that I love you. And of course she's at home right now, but I always try to send her roses every once in a while just because, and like her friends at work are like, well, what's the occasion? She's like, well, there's not, because that's something that we live by, right? I don't need a calendar to say I love you or to send you flowers. Like, we don't need that. And I think here, especially in our society, in America, it's like we don't truly understand the importance of how we have the freedom to really just be our own people. And we're still worried about what other people say about us. And I love what you said about that. So,
100%.
Let me ask you this.
But you're right. Time and money are two commodities that people will willingly never give up. If you want to see what somebody values, look at what they spend time on and look at what they spend money on. That is a very, very good indicator of what they value. Time and money are two commodities that people willingly never give up, and they get really mad when they waste it. So if you want to see what somebody values, look at what they spend time on and look at what they spend money on. It's a very great indicator.
Well, you made a comment that really just caught my attention right now. You said, so this is a mistake that I made, and it kind of goes with the comment that you made is, you said you can be a man with a business. Say what you said a little while ago. I don't want
so it's the difference between being a family man that happens to have a business or a businessman with a family.
Yes. So going back to that, the mistake that I made is that I had a business and then I was putting my family second when I first started doing my business like 3 years ago, full time. And I just really, like, my wife would come up and she would tell me hi, but I would be working on something on my computer and I'd be like, well, I'm busy. I'll be downstairs right now. And I really felt that conviction one day. It's like, hey, like, you're just honoring your wife by doing that. And I believe right now a lot of small businesses and businesses in general could be doing a lot better if you were really just to prioritize, like you said, be a family man with a business. When you just do that shift, that's honoring your family. Because when you honor your family, the rewards are going to come back 100-fold. What's your take on that?
Well, the business is always going to be there. The business, I mean, unless you shut it down, I mean, it's the only way it's not going to be there. You spending 10 minutes with your kids is going to mean more to your kids than some client who paid you money. You can get clients anywhere. You can get paid at any time, but they're only a certain age for a certain time. You know more than anybody, man. The wife can be taken from you in an instant.
Yes.
You know, your spouse can get sick and all of a sudden your life is up leveled astronomically upside down.
Yeah.
Right. So never take anything for granted. Never think that, oh, well, my family's over there. Like they're going to be there, you know, whatever. There's a difference between, hey guys, I need it quiet. I'm doing a podcast. Hey, look, I'm recording an online course. You guys need to, you know, go upstairs, or, you know, I'm going upstairs. I gotta be secluded for a couple hours. You know, I really got to get this online course fixed, you know, whatever. But scheduling your family time and scheduling your business time is going to be the huge difference maker. I'm a big proponent of scheduling everything. Number one rule of success: schedule everything. Schedule personal activities, schedule family night, schedule your business time. Like, live and die by your calendar. If it's not in your calendar, again, time and money are two commodities that people willingly never give up. So schedule everything. If you love it, schedule it. On this day, I'm going to buy my kids something. I'm going to buy my wife flowers. I'm going to buy my husband a new gun or something like that, a new fishing pole, whatever he loves, right? A new car. I don't know. But this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to schedule it. It's going to happen, because if you don't schedule it, then you're going to forget, and then something else is going to take your time. So be that family man or family centered person that happens to have a business. So there's a saying, I don't remember who said it. It wasn't me. I don't remember who said it, but the saying is, there is no success with failure in the home.
Yeah. No, that's so true. And it's funny you say that, because that's one of the biggest mistakes that I made. I was very successful in the automotive world, ran multi-million-dollar organizations. And I'll never forget this moment when my wife, after she had her double mastectomy, and I resigned from corporate America, and just my career started as a speaker and a trainer. Me and my son were there, and he was like, I was like, we were just talking, like me and you were talking, and he's like, you know, Dad, I really like hanging out with you now. And I'm like, okay, like maybe in a jokester, what? You didn't like hanging out with me before? And his eyes just teared up. And he goes, you know, Dad, no, you weren't a very nice guy sometimes. Wow. And man, that just broke my heart. Coming from a 17-year-old, that just like, and you think because you buy them the latest iPhones, you think because you give them a Jeep and they have all the toys to say, and no, all he wants is just his dad's attention sometimes, his time, right? Going back to time. And we forget that. We think it's about, we always say we want to give our kids better, but I think we use that as a cliche, and we don't even realize that, well, is a new iPhone really better than just spending quality time with your son or your daughter? And I think that's one of the biggest blessings that's come from just being an entrepreneur in my own life, is the fact that, hey, right now, after we're done recording the show, it's like, hey, I'm going to go eat lunch with my wife, or if I need to go see my daughter, hey, I don't have to ask for permission. And it's just a real blessing, because now I really have control of my life. And I'm grateful, because even though, like you said, being that servanthood in the beginning, I wasn't making what I was making in the car business, but I'll tell you that, man, I surpassed that already. And it's because I put God first. Then I put my wife, and then I put my children, and then business, and then everything just flourished. And it's amazing how you said that. When you can't outgive the universe, you can't outgive God. When you help people, it comes back to you 30, 60, 100-fold. I'm a true believer of that. So do me a favor, man. I'm loving this conversation. I don't want it to end, but if somebody's going through the struggle right now, and maybe they didn't even realize that they didn't value their family, their wives, their children the way they should, give us a couple of just words of wisdom, that what can they do to maybe just pivot and shift the way their family life? What are two things they can do, Sean, with that?
Yeah. So, I mean, first of all, you know, don't have your phones at the dinner table, no electronics, no nothing. It's just connect on a deep level. Make sure that what you're doing is spending quality time, and maybe get to know that person, you know, like ask them deep questions, you know? So yeah, just connect on a really deep level. Number one, And that's no phones at the dinner table, or actually have, like, the worst thing you can do is eat dinner, you and your spouse or whatever, like in the living room, but yet your kids are in the kitchen. You know what I mean? Like that's crazy to me. So that's how I was when I was being raised. It was mom and dad or stepfather are in the living room, in the other room eating dinner, watching TV, and us three kids are sitting at the kitchen table. So that wasn't fun. But schedule time together. Schedule your growth. Number 2, you got to schedule your growth. If you want to connect, so we can't really do a date night, right? I mean, everything's closed, and it's not like you go bowling or go out to dinner or whatever. But you can still have a date night. Go have a bonfire in the backyard, right? You and the spouse go have a bonfire.
I love that, man.
Go send the kids to a different room, and then have like a romantic comedy night or something, or have like we do movie. Like, man, how many movie nights have people been having? But do something different. Like, have an outdoor movie night.
Netflix is loving it.
Dude, right? Netflix stock's crazy right now. Just do everything you can to ensure that the world around you, like your world around you, Daniel's world, my world, everybody's listening world around them, the spouse, kids, whoever's your significant others, whoever your world is, just make sure that they're taken care of. Make sure that they know that you're there for them no matter what, and that they are first place. And still my wife gets upset, like, oh, another podcast? Like, come on. I was like, man, I got to knock these out. It's only an hour. I got to knock it out, So, but there are times where she's like, hey, look, it's getting to be that time. And, maybe it's 8 p.m. She's like, look, it's almost 8. Usually by 8 p.m. I'm off the computer. I'm offline. Like we're sitting there, we're watching TV, or we're watching a movie together, or we're talking, whatever. You know what I mean? So set that time and schedule it.
I love that, man. I love that. Sean, I love the way this show went. It was amazing. I think it's really going to help a lot of families out there, a lot of people, not just in their personal life, but also in their business life and every aspect of it. And how can somebody get a hold of Sean Douglas? I love you. I respect you. And I want people to find you. And, you have a lot of great content that you put out. So if somebody wants to follow you or get a hold of you, how can they do that, Sean?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. They can go to my website, which is right there, the Success Core, right?
TheSuccessCorp.com.
TheSuccessCore.com. You can go to my YouTube channel. Just search for my name and The Success Core. There's a YouTube channel. Instagram is at The Success Core. Facebook group is The Success Core Academy. So come into my ecosystem, come hang out with us and see what we're all about. Come check me out on TikTok, and
Awesome.
or you can send me an email at Sean, SEAN, Sean at thesuccesscore.com.
Awesome, man. Well, I'll tell you, you dropped some great love here today. You're going to help people, families, just so many amazing words of wisdom that you shared. Thank you so much for being on our show. It's an honor to have you here. And man, audience, I hope you took some notes here, because Sean just dropped a lot of words of wisdom. And Sean, thank you so much. Everybody, thank you for watching, and have an amazing day.
This is Daniel Gomez, and thank you so much for tuning into our show today. We'd love your feedback. Please drop us a comment, and thank you for leaving us a review. Don't forget to subscribe to our show and share this episode with a friend. And my free gift for listening to our show today is a copy of my best-selling book, You Were Born to Fly. To get your free copy, go to DanielGomezInspires.com and get your copy today. That's DanielGomezInspires.com. And to elevate your life and business even more, follow me on social media at Daniel Gomez Inspires on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Together, we will discover the key that unlocks your confidence.